Hello and welcome to another episode of Your World. So over the next 30 minutes, we'll be bringing you a roundup of all top stories from Indonesia and also around the world. I am Aisha Fabian and this is Your World. In our first segment, we have breaking news from the Philippines with the former President Duterte arrested by police officers on Tuesday after returning to the country from Hong Kong. And Duterte is being charged for crimes against humanity in abusive drug war. Let's take a look.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested by police officers on Tuesday after returning to the Philippines from Hong Kong, acting on a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court or ICC related to his controversial war on drugs. Duterte faces charges of the crime against humanity of the murder for his role in the crackdown, during which tens of thousands of people, mostly poor men, were killed by officers and vigilantes, often without evidence of their involvement in drugs. The Constitutional Court is preparing for its upcoming ruling on President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment, with both supporters and opponents of the move staging protests. Those advocating for impeachment have begun a hunger strike, while others held a head-shaving ceremony to demand Yoon's reinstatement. Tensions are rising, and potential clashes between the two sides are anticipated on the day of the ruling. In response, the police plan to establish a 100-meter vehicle barricade around the Constitutional Court and enforce a ban on rallies within this area, as stipulated by the Assembly and Demonstration Act. On Sunday, Syria's neighboring countries, including Jordan, Turkey, Iraq, and Lebanon, pledged support for Syria's unity and stability, announcing the establishment of a joint operations center to combat the Islamic State. The meeting, held in Amman, emphasized cooperation in military, security, and intelligence efforts to eliminate IS and address its regional threats. Jordan's Deputy Minister Ayman Savadi highlighted the importance of Syria's stability for regional peace, while Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan urged regional solutions and opposed external interference. In Patani Saiburi district, 3 paramilitary rangers were killed and 1 injured in an explosion near a road intersection on March 9th, following an earlier armed attack on a ranger unit. Insurgents, mostly dressed in black, arrived at the district office around 9:30 p.m. in a pickup truck and sedan. They threw hand grenades and fired assault rifles at the office, which was staffed by about a dozen defense volunteers. After the attack, they fled the scene. Police later reported 3 more explosions in the area, and an LPG cylinder rigged as an explosive was found on a road behind a school. In the early hours of Tuesday, Ukraine launched a drone attack on Russia, targeting a residential building in Ramenskoye, a town outside of Moscow. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin confirmed that more than 58 drones were shot down, all of which were heading towards Moscow. The attack caused damage to the top 3 floors of a high-rise apartment building in Ramenskoye, with windows blown out and debris on the ground. Firefighters and first responders were on site. China's General Administration of Customs, or GACC, announced on Tuesday that it has suspended imports of U.S. lumber and revoked the U.S. licenses of 3 U.S. companies for soybean shipments, citing concerns over the presence of forest pests and contamination in recent shipments. The GACC reported that routine inspection of U.S. lumber imports uncovered quarantine pests, including bark beetles and longhorn beetles. To safeguard China's agricultural and ecological security and prevent the spread of harmful organisms, the GICC immediately suspended U.S. lumber imports. This decision is in accordance with China's biosafety law, the Entry-Exit Animal and Plant Quarantine Law, and international phytosanitary standards.
And next we go to Indonesia. This week, President Prabowo and General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, To Lam, met and agreed to elevate bilateral relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership between Indonesia and Vietnam. And also, President Prabowo visited flood victims in Babelan, Bekasi Regency.
President Prabowo and General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, To Lam, signed a number of agreements to improve cooperation between the two countries. The documents include agreements in defense and security, which were signed after the bilateral meeting held between the two leaders at Merdeka Palace in Jakarta on Monday. Both Indonesia and Vietnam also reaffirmed support to stability and peace in ASEAN region as the main foundation for economic growth and people's welfare. As well, Indonesia and Vietnam are ready to support each other in national and international forums, including the United Nations, the Non-Aligned Movement, and ASEAN. President Prabowo visited a flood-affected area in Babelan, Bekasi Regency, West Java, where he inspected residential areas still inundated by water. He engaged with residents, inquiring about their well-being and urgent needs. During the visit, he distributed food aid for the people's breakfast meals, hoping to ease their burdens during the Ramadan fasting month. In addition to providing aid, President Prabowo joined the residents in breaking the fast in a humble setting. He also sought to uplift the morale of the flood victims, assuring them of the government's commitment to continuously monitor their condition and ensure the smooth distribution of aid. President Prabowo Subianto held a discussion with Pandawara Group, a youth-led environmental activist organization known for their viral cleanup activities on social media. The meeting took place at Presidential Palace in Jakarta on Tuesday, where they discussed environmental issues, particularly waste management. A Pandawara member, Gilang Rahma, expressed hope that the discussion would lead to better innovations for environmental preservation in Indonesia. Pandawara Group gained widespread recognition for their efforts in cleaning up waste in various locations, which they document on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. They have successfully cleaned over 80 sites, including Labuan Beach in Pandeglang Regency and Sukaraja Beach in Bandar Lampung, which are among Indonesia's dirtiest beaches. According to data from the National Disaster Mitigation Agency (BNPB), the flood in Sukabumi Regency caused significant damage, affecting 150 houses with light damage, 110 with medium damage, and 95 with severe damage. The disaster also impacted infrastructure, destroying 6 bridges, 1 health facility, 27 road points, and 16 inter-village connecting bridges. Although the flood waters have receded, 3 districts remain under emergency response status. The most needed emergency logistics include instant food, mineral water, blankets, and hygiene kits. Mudikpedia Lebaran 2025, launched by the Ministry of Communication and Digital Affairs, helps travelers access homecoming information, including real-time traffic via CCTV on toll roads, national roads, and ferry ports. It is available at s.id/Mudikpedia. An improved version, it features e-travel guides from multiple ministries. The peak homecoming is expected on March 28, 2025, and the peak return flow on April 6, 2025. Emil Audero, Joey Pelupesi, and Dean James have been added to Indonesia's provisional squad for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Australia and Bahrain in mid-March. Before playing, they must switch their football federation from the Netherlands KNVB to PSSI, with FIFA's registration deadline set for Thursday. Audero currently plays for FC Palermo in Italy, Pelupesi for Lommel SK in Belgium, and James for Go Ahead Eagles in the Netherlands. The Legal Affairs Ministry fully supports athlete naturalization, regulated under Law No. 12 of 2006 to enhance national sports achievements.
Finally, in our global roundup, we have some fascinating stories from around the world. In China, the traditional Hanfu garment gained international popularity, and meanwhile in Turkey, Burma Kadayif, a signature dessert from Diyarbakir, has been officially registered as a protected local specialty.
Philip Bibido McCartney grew up fishing the strip of the Kimberley's Dampier Peninsula. The big difference now is significant sections of coral have turned bright white in a mass bleaching event. The Bardi Joey Rangers and the Kimberley Land Council have been monitoring reef of the Kimberley coast for years with the Australian Institute of Marine Science. The marine heatwave since last winter is being blamed for the most significant coral bleaching event seen here. The rangers are worried about the cultural impact of habitat loss. The traditional Chinese Hanfu garment has gained global popularity, with Kaohsiung County in eastern China emerging as the center of the Hanfu industry. Many young people worldwide are reconnecting with their cultural heritage by embracing Hanfu. In London, a studio allows people to try on Hanfu from different eras, complete with authentic hair and makeup. Kaohsiung County produces half of China's Hanfu garments, with Daiji Town becoming a major e-commerce hub. Over 14,000 online stores and 2,000 businesses drive the industry, generating 12 billion yuan in sales last year.
This is no ordinary ship. I'm standing on the bow of what's soon to be the world's largest electric ferry. It's being built here in this shipyard in Hobart, Tasmania.
The shipbuilders behind this world-first project, Incat, are renowned for their lightweight aluminium ships.
As you can see, the ships are getting bigger.
The company's founder, Robert Clifford, has never been afraid of testing new waters.
And how big of a risk is it to go all in on the fully electric ship?
I don't see it as a risk at all. The risk would be that if we tried to stay with fossil-powered fuels, we would run out of the market. That's the big risk. And it is exciting to be leading the world with electric propulsion.
Incat's aluminium ships weigh around half of what a traditional steel ship would.
Lightweight construction and electricity go together. because less power is needed. Not only less power, but most importantly, less charging time.
Hull 96 was originally designed to be powered by gas engines, but during a pause in construction in the midst of the pandemic, the South American customer Bucabus had a change of heart and asked for an electric ferry instead. The ferry will travel between Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, to Colonia del Sacramento, Uruguay, carrying 2,100 passengers and 225 cars. It'll transport commuters 30 nautical miles, or about 55 kilometres, across the River Plate 3 times a day. To make the hour-long journey, it's going to need some serious batteries. There's over 5,000 battery modules that weigh 280 tonnes. That's the equivalent of about 860 average-size electric vehicle batteries. Despite this weight, Incat's CEO says the ship is lighter than traditional diesel-powered ferries.
But think of 8 diesel engines and all the fuel tanks we need to power those, compared to the batteries themselves, which are charged from the shore side every time the boat docks.
While this electric ferry shows what can be done over short distances, there are questions on whether ships with longer journeys can do the same.
The ships that we build here at Incat, we're focusing on the 100 nautical miles or less. The large cargo tankers, I think, have bigger challenges to face.
The global shipping industry has a goal of reaching net zero emissions by 2050. It's a tough ask for an industry that accounts for 3% of global emissions. But if they can pull this off, it might just be possible.
Jess Davis, ABC News, Hobart.
Approximately 4 million Muslims live in the United States, while Turks are predominantly concentrated in the New Jersey, New York area. Neighborhoods like Patterson and Bergen are filled with Turkish signs and businesses, resembling a little Turkey. Every year during Ramadan, Turks and other Muslim communities come together. They break their fast at Turkish restaurants, then gather at Turkish mosques for Taraweeh, prayers and supplication.
Okay, so that's all for today's episode of Your World. I am Aisha Fabian. Thank you for watching and see you again next time.